welcome to the Doing It with Purpose podcast, where I am your host, Cornelius T. Summers, aka Cuddy, and we also have host Greg Peterson, aka the Deeg.
Dig.
And so we wanted to welcome you today, coming to you from Forest Drive, South Carolina, Columbia, that is, where we stopped by to have a little small conversation with Mr. John Hooks, who is the owner of Icebox Studio in Columbia, a form of cryotherapy. And so today we wanted to stop by and have Mr. John share with us a little bit about what cryotherapy is, the benefits, what it can help you with. And so we'd just like to welcome you to the show today, Mr. John.
Thanks for having me.
Awesome. And so Greg and I both started this cryotherapy journey a little over a year ago as a referral.
2021 or 2022? 2022 probably.
It was right after they initially opened. I'm not for sure. I just know we were recommended to go there. My son was the guinea pig for me. I let him go in first because they talked about how extremely cold the experience would be, and I was just like, hey, I've been stationed in Germany. I've been stationed all kind of places in the military, but when you start talking about negative 100 plus degrees, I'm like, nah, that's not for me. But nonetheless, I believe it was a great benefit. I enjoy it. Might get me a session in the day before I leave to go back.
For sure.
So Mr. John, can you tell us a little bit about yourself? Are you a native of South Carolina?
Yep. So I'm from Chapin.
Chapin, okay.
Graduated in '93. Now I'm telling you my age. But yeah, we've lived here all of our life. And my wife, she's from a little town towards Charleston called Holly Hill,
Okay.
South Carolina. So not too far away from here. But yeah, we've got a 13-year-old and a 16-year-old in school, and this is kind of where we're raising our family.
So you don't have a box I can walk in to help me deal with my teenagers, do you?
I wish I did.
That's the next thing we're going to work on.
Because I need help with that too.
Oh yeah. And so
So how did this cryotherapy thing come about, man?
So it's kind of long story. I was in the waste business for 22 years. My wife's in a pharmaceutical business, and her company merged with another pharmaceutical company, and her ex-boss took the buyout package. He was ready to retire, had 30 years plus in that industry, and he knew that I always kind of wanted to do something on my own, and it's kind of athletically driven. And he called Jennifer, my wife, and just said, "Hey, I think I've got something here. Y'all should come up and take a look at it." So he sent us some information. I looked at it. We went up there one Saturday and went through all the services, and I was like, wow, okay. So he recommended us to meet with the owner, Alia Austin, and she kind of vetted us, and we went through Discovery Day and everything and got approved. And be honest with you, I got kind of cold feet.
I bet.
Oh yeah.
So it was, I want to own my own business, but then when it gets down to it, you're on deck. You're like, you got to pull the trigger. So I just told my wife, I said, let me sleep on this for 48 hours or whatever. And the man upstairs, I guess, was telling me it wasn't the right time. Because within those 48 hours, COVID hit. The whole country shut down.
Man,
oh, wow.
So that's terrible, starting your own business out of it, and the whole country shut down.
So I was just thankful and told him every day, thank you for not letting me make a bad decision.
Understood.
That's one of our mottos, John. It's God's plan.
That's right.
God's plan.
Right.
Exactly.
It'll happen when he's ready for it to happen.
Exactly.
So, but long story short, that's how we got introduced to it. And he owned the one in Woodstock, Georgia, in Alpharetta.
Okay.
And back to the COVID, I continued to work. And then once, the country started opening back up, Icebox kind of reached back out and said, hey, you interested? And my wife was like, this is now or never. You got to either do it or not. And here we are.
So
wow.
Glad we did it.
That was going to be my next question. So pretty much, you glad, or you staying busy, or you think this was a bad decision?
No, it's probably been one of the better decisions than marrying my wife.
Oh, wow.
The second best decision.
We're going to bleep that out. We're going to bleep that out. Yeah.
No.
But no, it's been received really well here in the community. I mean, it's a holistic service. We're not injecting anything in you or asking you to take anything oral. It's your body just healing itself. everybody has their different why
Yeah,
they come in.
it's all natural, man.
And that's what my next question was going to be, was what exactly is cryotherapy? You hear about physical therapy, you hear about all these different therapies that you can take, but the first time I was trying to explain to someone, like, what is cryotherapy? And they was like, what is cryo? I was like, well, it's so cold that you will cry when you go in there. However, what's more of a definitive definition for cryotherapy?
So the best way to describe it is basically the modern day ice bath.
Okay.
Okay.
Cryotherapy was founded to treat rheumatoid arthritis, um, but it's like I said, it's the modern day ice bath. You're just not wet. You're
Yeah.
getting in a very large freezer or refrigerator for 3 minutes, and it just flushes inflammation and it releases endorphins.
Oh wow.
So a lot of athletes use it. Again,
Yeah.
everybody has their different why, from a pain management standpoint, from a mood swing, from sleeping to whatever. I mean, there's a zillion benefits of cryotherapy.
Okay, yeah, and that's
Wow.
what when I first came, I heard Chris Darren, the sports guy.
Yep.
I saw him, and he was actually doing the leg compressions, man. And I looked it up, and I was like, man, I might need to try this right here, because I have I had bad knees. I got two new knees now, and I came over and I tried it, man, and I was like, man, I just felt just relaxed. I slept better that night, man. The achiness, from working night shift, day shift, working
On
a whole
concrete
weekend,
all
whatever.
day.
Yeah, walking around on concrete all day. All that stuff was gone away just instantly for the weekend. So it helped me out a whole lot, man. Whatever. And I just started spreading the word or whatever.
Yep.
I told pretty much everybody that would listen
Everyone.
about it. Yeah.
Because when you
Yeah.
told me CJ was in the midst of AAU season, they had some extensive training going on, and he was like, "Dad, I'm sore, and practicing 3-4 days a week." And I was like, "Look, your uncle told me about this Icebox. Let's try it. It's right down the road." And I brought him over, and he went in. He was like, "Dad, you're not gonna do it?" It's like, "Nope, no. I don't do the cold. If I don't have to." But afterwards, he was just barely able to move. He went through the ice box for 3 minutes. And then the next thing you know, he's like, "Dad, I can go practice again." I was like, "You were just sore." He was like, and so we did the leg compressions. I did do that the first time, and that I'm a massage lover, so I said, I'll do the leg compressions. But then I got enough gumption and enough confidence. I said, I'm going to go in here and do this ice box. And after the first time, I realized it was more mental.
Yeah.
And here it is. My son at the time was 13. He was like, "Dad, it's mental." I was like, "Okay, you're trying this reverse psychology," but it was mental.
Yeah.
I actually went through it, and it's like, okay, and now I'm still on level 1, but I still can just go in there for my 3 minutes, listen to whatever song I want to listen to, have a conversation with God, move around, and feel brand new when I come out. So, yeah. So let's talk about some of these temperatures, right? Because I know it's different levels. I said I'm on level 1, and I think CJ is on level 2. Greg, you're probably level 1 with me.
Well, I was on level. I was double black, but after the knee surgery, I went back down to level 1, and
Okay.
I barely could take level 1.
Right.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. So,
Yeah, it's so the chamber has 4 levels, or excuse me, 5 levels. Um, there's a secret cryo insane for the everydayers that come
yeah.
in there, but it ranges from -166 to -220,
Wow.
and the big difference between the levels is the wind chill factor.
Yes, sir.
The box usually sits probably right around -145, 150. You open the door to get in, it's going to drop just a little bit, but through that 3 minutes, it gains and exceeds that 150 where it sits in idle.
Okay.
And that wind chill factor is depending on which level you are. Just the fan kicks on at a different time.
Understood.
So what's your level, John?
So I do cryo insane, but again, I'm in there a lot, and I'm probably doing it consistently 5 out of 7 days a week.
Oh my
Wow.
goodness.
I've done it twice a day. I've done it in the morning and sometimes before I go home. It just makes me feel good.
That was my next question. So what's your biggest benefit you think from it, man?
Mine's, I say sleep, but you can. It's a mood swing too. Instead of having a cup of coffee or a Mountain Dew midday, I'll jump in the box and I'm ready to talk Icebox the second half of the day. So
Yeah.
it's, and kind of to your point, everybody has a little anxiety when they get in, because you try to explain to them what cryotherapy is, and you're like, You want me to do what? That doesn't seem very smart.
Crazy.
Right,
Yeah.
crazy. So it's that's a natural. I had anxiety when I first got in, when I
Yeah.
first was introduced to it. But it's once you try it, I mean, we haven't had probably but maybe one person since we opened in July of 22 that didn't make it all the way through to 3 minutes, and they came
Yeah.
out with like 5 seconds left just because they didn't know that when to come out,
Yeah.
right?
Exactly.
But everybody, I mean, they get out and they say it's cold, but then all of a sudden those endorphins are releasing. And they're like, I've never felt like
I
this
feel
before.
better.
So it's
The first time that you know, it was explained to me and described, I thought about I have a good buddy. We had him on the second episode. He has ALS, and I remember they were doing the ice bucket challenge for ALS, and so that's what I immediately thought of. And I was like, no one is dumping a cold bucket of ice. It's like, no, you just go in this chamber and I was like, okay, am I fully clothed? And so can you share with us what's the attire when you go in? What's
so
the process?
we provide everything.
Okay.
Your son can come straight out of practice. He can be sweaty, cycle bar next door, whatever your workout regimen is. We provide the boxers if you need them, socks, gloves, hat, mask. So basically, you go in a changing room, and we give you slippers, socks, boxers, and a robe, and you walk out. You walk into the chamber. The door shuts. You take your robe off. You hang it up on the hook, just like you're getting in the shower. So you're standing there with your undergarments on, listen to your favorite song in headphones.
Yeah.
Obviously, nobody can see you.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
The doors blacked out. So it's just kind of your 3 minutes of the day.
Oh yeah.
To do whatever you want to do, talk to
Yeah.
God, sing the song, pray for forgiveness.
Yeah.
But you're gonna feel better when you come out.
Oh, yeah.
So
Oh,
that's
yeah.
And here's a little hint for all those who I know are going to watch the episode. Come over and give this a shot. When you do go in the box and you take off your robe, my lesson learned on like my second or third attempt is to take the robe off and hang it up backwards.
yeah.
So when that light does alert you to come out, you can just slide your arm in. I spent an extra 15 seconds in there the very first time
Oh,
trying
yeah.
to get
We all
dressed.
did.
And I was just shaking and I was
Oh,
like,
yeah.
hey, whoever's out there on the other side, they've seen everything in this world before. And I was just coming out of there. But my son taught me, he's like, Dad, hang it up backwards. So that way when you
Yeah.
put it on, it just comes straight out.
Yeah.
So they thank him for that tip. But yeah, that's just something that we'll throw out there. So yeah, everything is great. I really enjoy the ice box and so do you offer several packages, plans, because
Yes. So if you want to come do single sessions, we have a variety of different packages. It just depends on how in depth you want to get with it. We've got unlimited packages, and and then we've got some that allow like 6 or 8 times a month in the box. But we provide leg compressions, which helps lymphatic drainage and any kind of blood circulation or swelling you have going on in your legs. A lot of folks love that. They do called a freeze and squeeze, so they'll come jump in the box and then they sit in the chairs for 20, 25 minutes with the leg compressions and then go back to work. Some folks, it's real quick. You're in our studio probably an average of 12 minutes when you're just doing the box.
wow.
And so you think of when I mentioned the modern day ice bath, you got to make the bath, then you got to get in it for 20
Yeah.
minutes. You can do the whole thing in 3 minutes and 12 minutes.
12 minutes,
So
wow.
there's a lot of folks come over from wherever they're working, lunch break, in and out. I mean, we take walk-ins. But we provide leg compressions. We provide localized spot treatment. That is a service we provide if we want to really target a certain area on your body: elbow, knee, shoulder, and that's just cold nitrogen. We use with a wand on a basket weaving motion, and it flushes inflammation out as well.
Yes.
That's
Works great.
that is very popular, especially on sore backs.
Yeah.
We've done them on hamstrings, pretty much tennis elbow, everywhere you can imagine. We've done it on folks that have slept on their neck wrong.
And my
you
son
know?
just came and got some for his shin splints. He started track season with going into AAU basketball season, and he was complaining about his shin splints. So he definitely enjoyed that aspect of it.
And then we've got 2 estheticians, licensed estheticians on staff, and we have a whole skin program where It's a 3-month commitment, and they do cryo facials and get, they're really, really good. Carson and Amy are really, really good to help you with your skin.
And it's definitely I guess being a barber and having to go through some of those basic training things when it comes to facials and things, that it's an anti-aging
100%.
schematic that you're looking at. So all of the women watching the show, because they're more concerned about it than us men sometimes. If you want some anti-aging treatment, please definitely come on over to the Icebox Studio and Mr. John's staff, who, by the way, I mean, I would call you the Don Staley of cryotherapy, right? You have a heck of a team.
For
Can you tell us a little bit about your team?
Kaylee's our studio manager. She's been with us since last May, and she has done unbelievable things, motivating staff. She's got, next in line would be Megan. She's our lead wellness coordinator, and she's I go on and on about her as well. She's been with us for almost a year now. We've got Lauren. She's a student at South Carolina, getting ready to graduate. Elizabeth is as well. Amy just came on. She's one of our estheticians. And Carson is our other esthetician, and she's been here with us since we opened in July of 22.
Okay. Wow.
And we also have Bree. She is a soccer player on the girls' soccer team at South Carolina.
Okay.
And she's a freshman.
Oh, wow.
And I don't think I've missed anybody. I'm sure they'll remind me if I do.
But no, I mean, an amazing staff, And so when we look at the services that you're able to provide, you can't provide those level of services without an amazing staff. So fortunate, like you said, God worked it out to where he told you when, and then the timing, he just lined it up with the staff to come aboard. And so, kudos to the entire Icebox Studio staff. I've never, ever come to a session and not had a tremendous experience, and just the feedback. The last time we came, brought my son, I think about 2 or 3 Sundays ago, and they were just explaining to us the different types of localized treatments, and even gave us an experimental session for us to be able to. And he's like, "Yeah, Dad, I can use that." And so, we just cryotherapy. I mean, it was new to me when I first heard it. Anytime something's new, we're fearful of change or fearful of how something may go. But I promise anyone out there who's listening and considering it, there was a gentleman who came to my barbershop about a month ago, and he could barely move. I know I hadn't seen him in a while, but he could barely move. And I was like, what's going on? And he was like, "Oh, they're trying to tell me that I have a sciatic nerve, and I have this, and I have that." And I was like, "Well, I'm not a doctor, but I know where you can go. If you go and try the Icebox, I promise you, you won't sell yourself short." And so he was willing. I'm not sure if he came over yet, but if he hasn't, I may take one of my Mondays when I'm off in person to bring him over here, just for him to get that experience and see if that helps minimize his pain.
Definitely help, man. Definitely help.
Because I brought my mom, she loved it. I brought my wife, who's definitely not a person of cold, but she enjoyed it. But I love it. I love it. And so, we got to get everyone who's interested and who's willing to come over to the Icebox Studio. But I think Greg had a tremendous question that I myself too am interested in hearing the answer to. So,
but I actually got 2 questions, man. The first question is, we talked earlier about the fact of the matter that it actually helps you lose weight. It builds your metabolism up, right?
That's correct.
You say it burns how many calories just in the Icebox?
The science depends on body type, and there's a lot of variables, but they say on an average, the science has proven burning 500 to 700 calories in a 3-minute session.
That's a great workout right there, man.
And we don't sell it as a weight loss. And a lot of people, when I share that information with, "Oh, John, you're crazy." I'm like, listen, when you're bored one day, Google cryotherapy benefits, and it's going to pop up 500 to 700 calories. In this day and age, you got to be truthful when you tell people things, because they can. There's a lot of research out there.
Fact finding and fact checking and all that kind of stuff.
But my number one question, the reason why I'm actually over here, man, I love the Icebox, man. Until I had the surgeries, I was actually a member, But when I had the surgeries, I stopped because I couldn't come for like 3 months or whatever. So I stopped the surgery, but I plan on joining back. But one key fact that's gonna make me join back even faster than I would like to join back, because I came over here to ask John, when is the Icebox Cryotherapy coming to Lexington, South Carolina?
Oh, mercy. That's the $1 million question.
Yes, $1 million question.
Our goal is to have multiple locations. When I say
Yeah.
our staff and my
Yeah.
wife or whatever, we're the only Icebox in South Carolina.
Yeah.
But I do not have a definite time frame. But Lexington is definitely on the list.
Cut the cameras off, CJ, man. Let's just stop, man. Pack the stuff up. Nah, go ahead, man. Go ahead.
But no, it is. Lexington's earmarked. Charleston, Greenville. There's several locations within the state, and it just has to. Again, it has to. God knows when it's the right time,
for sure.
and it's got to make financial sense. And business sense,
no doubt, man. No doubt.
Give him an application and tell him that. Listen,
that's true. That's very true.
Because I actually just retired, and man, I've been thinking about this thing the whole time. Whatever they
well before the retirement. That's all he's been talking about since day one. Hey, we need one of these in Lexington.
Yeah, we need one of these in Lexington, man.
I didn't realize.
I actually talked to John. Me and him done talked about it every time I come over. We'll talk, man. When you coming to Lexington? When you come to Lexington? Whatever. But
we have probably 10 members that come from Lexington, and I wish I had a penny. For every time they ask me.
So you can shut the cryotherapy down and just say do that right there. Yeah, that's for sure, man. Because it's not the fact of the matter that there's something wrong with cryotherapy, all that. It's just pretty much the ride for pretty much everybody that's coming over here. It's like a 45-minute ride for us to come.
But it's worth it.
It's definitely worth it because I've been coming.
What I always say is, for the Lexington folks, y'all don't have a Trader Joe's.
Yeah, exactly.
So you're going to come over here anyway.
That's what you tell me.
You come over here and get your wine or whatever you're buying from Trader Joe's, and you can jump in the box, and it only takes you a couple minutes. And,
They spend more than 12 minutes going up and down these aisles. So 12 minutes, right? And it's beneficial.
Yeah,
if you're gonna buy a Snickers bar from Trader Joe's and eat it, just going over to the cryotherapy.
Trader Joe's
and you'll get rid of those calories. I'm just saying, it's gas stations around here. But so I do have one other question. Could this thing go mobile?
So it's interesting how you. That's a great question. So Alia Austin, the founder, she had a mobile cryo machine before she started franchising and doing stores.
Wow.
And she had it on a trailer, and she had it for the Falcons.
Atlanta Falcons.
Preseason camp. And the guys would come off the field, jump in the chamber right after they had practice, and then go on their day or whatever for recovery. Because it's just so much quicker than sitting in an ice bath for 20 minutes.
Exactly.
But she had one, and I don't know whatever happened. I think she started franchising and putting, stores up. So, but she did. That's how she got her start.
Oh, wow. And I mean, I had no idea. I was just inquiring. So, you speak of the Atlanta Falcons. I'm sure you have Carolina Gamecocks, Cardinal Newman, all these intense, athletic programs in this area. They're all participating. I came one time, my son and I, and it's never been a long line, but you can make your appointments so that you don't have to wait. But we kind of did a walk-in basis, and you had several athletes who were on the way to baseball practice or coming from baseball practice. And so it's definitely beneficial. I think you got quite a few USC athletic groups coming over.
We've got the football team. They're obviously they come in the off season because they're so busy during the in season, but they come. The women's basketball team, they come over. A couple of them come over. We have the women's soccer team. They come over and do it. We also have, the head coach of the men's soccer team, he's in there, and his wife. It's funny you say that. His wife is training for I guess it's strong women's event or something down in Jacksonville, and she's in there all the time for recovery. She goes and works out and does a recovery. I had one of my buddies in Atlanta who did one of those where you ride the bike, you swim, and then you run. Triathlon.
Yes, sir.
Thank you. And he said there was no way that he could have made it because he joined the Icebox in Alpharetta.
Oh, wow.
And he was doing it, or East Cobb, I think, for recovery through his training. And he said there's no way I could have got through the training and completed it without jumping in the box every day.
And so we may have some viewers outside of the Columbia area, the South Carolina area. If they have one in their location, being an Icebox Studio, um, does the memberships or does the information kind of connect? Where if I'm a member here and we go to Georgia and we run across one, can we?
100%. So the way Icebox is very flexible, so
Okay.
to speak. When I say our packages or memberships, um, if you're a member in Columbia, that means you're a member in all 18 of them in the country.
Wow.
So you could go to Tucson, Arizona, and walk in there and give them your name. They're going to treat you just like they do in Columbia.
Hey, that's
If
what's up, man.
you go to Lake Norman, right outside of Charlotte, you go in there and give them your name. They're going to treat you just like you are wherever your home base is as
Okay.
being a member. So yeah, it's your membership travels, and we do that for corporate folks.
Yes, sir.
We allow you to freeze your membership if you're traveling and can't do it, or if you're just can't get here or whatever for up to 60 days.
Okay.
The cancellation is not that; it's basically 30 days.
Okay.
It's not.
Yeah.
You got to commit for 6 months, and you can't get out of it. It's so when you first sign up, it's basically a 2-month commitment.
Yes.
And the reason that is it's a compound therapy. To realize the full benefits, you really need to do it.
You got to have some data within yourself to know how it's
I say
affecting.
3 to 5.
Yeah.
Science says 2 to 4. But the more you do it, the more benefits. If
Yes,
you do
sir.
it, it's kind of like if I go to work out once a week every Wednesday, I'm probably not going to make the gains I want if I work out 4 days a week.
Yeah,
Yes,
so
sir.
it's
Exactly.
the same scenario.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
I know for my son and I, we did the transferable benefit of it, and so I was able to come, and he was able to come, and I wasn't able to come, but he was still able to use it. And then my mom, we wanted her to try it, and she was like, "Well, I said, listen, it's on us. Use this transferable session," and she loved it. She was buying her own sessions after that. So yeah, definitely a great package. But yeah, that was that the experience in itself. I don't think we do justice or due diligence. Speaking on it, you have to kind of go
You
through
have
it
to
for
experience
yourself.
for yourself.
Because I can't tell you I slept like a baby, and then you're going to go
Yeah.
home and sleep like a baby.
Yeah.
You just actually have to go through it, lay down that night, and it's like, wow. I think the best sleep I ever had, I had electric shock wave therapy on my feet, and they put me under, and I woke up, and I was like, wow, where did I go? But the next time I felt that good after waking up was after I had my first session of cryotherapy. And so, yeah.
Yeah, it is, like I said, it's been received really well. I failed to mention one of our staff members, so I need to get that on tape.
Yeah.
Carly, she is also a part-time
Yes, sir.
student at South Carolina. I know that if they listen to this, she'll be on me. So
Yes,
I
sir.
got to mention Carly.
No
So,
problem.
okay.
No problem.
But no, it's been received really well. Like I said, everything we do is non-invasive. So I think it's again, it's holistic, and I think that's the reason it's a very popular service. I mean,
Yeah.
it's your body healing itself, just quicker.
Yes,
Okay.
sir. Yes, sir.
That's great, man. That's great. Everything sounds great, man. It's pretty much you just have to, like Cornelius said, you have to try it for yourself, man.
Exactly.
I stand behind it 100%, man.
100.
100%, yeah.
My name is Cornelius Summers, and I
Approve this
approve
message.
this message.
Yeah.
Like it's definitely something that is beneficial. You can't, as Mr. John and I was talking this morning, health is wealth. When you
Yes.
start looking at, a doctor can prescribe. I was in the military. You go in there and your knee is, they check your knee. Oh, my knee is bothering me. They're going to give you this 800 milligram Motrin. They're going to give it to you forever. That's killing your liver.
Yeah.
They're going to tell you,
Oh, yeah.
eat it, take it with food. Don't take too many of them. Being close to Fort Jackson, are you getting a lot of soldiers?
We are.
Okay.
We're getting and it's the word's spreading over there.
Okay.
The best marketing we do is things like this,
Word of mouth.
and word of mouth,
Yeah.
and it's spreading like wildfire over there. And they're coming in, and like you said, both of y'all said it. You got to try it. If
Oh,
there's
yeah.
ever
Yeah.
any question, I mean, we try to educate any first-time guest, even if we have a member that's been there for 2 years. Like if there's a question about a service and what the benefit is, staff is going to take the time and explain it to you because
Oh,
they
yeah.
want you to feel comfortable doing it.
And correct me if I'm wrong, because I always like to point this out. My daughter will go to Dollar General and ask them for military discount, right? But you do offer military discount.
We have student discount and a military discount.
So there you go. For all my veterans, active duty, those are serving, please, please, please do yourself. I've taken enough PT tests. I've done enough ruck marches. I've spent the night in the woods long enough to know that your body's going to get sore. But if you want to recover and you get an hour lunch sometimes, 10-minute drive here, 12 minutes in the actual building, you still can stop by maybe chicken salad, get something a little healthier now that you got rid of the calories and the soreness. But it's definitely a huge benefit. And I know I will promote it to my son's entire AAU team coming up, because last year, we would leave practice and they want to stand around and talk. And I'm like, on Sundays when they were having practice, you all closed, I think, a little early at 4.
Yeah, Monday through Thursday, we're open from 9 a.m. to 7 p.m. Okay. And then Friday, Saturday, Sunday, we're open from 9 a.m. to 4 p.m.
Okay, yeah. So I was trying to get, like, they would finish up practice at like 3:30. I'm like, look, I got to get to Icebox and get him, because, again, with school or my schedule, able to bring him back wasn't always beneficial. So definitely want to take advantage of the time frames.
I tell you, too, a lot of, not to interrupt you, a lot of athletes, and again, we've talked about a lot of athletes doing cryotherapy. It's not just for athletes; it's for everyone. Everybody has a different why, but they're doing it before practice now.
Wow. Gives you that energy.
Yeah. And it's releasing those endorphins, and and it just makes them a little bit more relaxed in practice. And so it's not just a recovery. It's, again, everybody has a different why. Some people do it before they work out. We had a person come in that was training for a marathon, and she started doing it before she ran her X amount of miles that day instead of after. You would always think, you're like, dang, I need to do it afterwards. And she would come in and do that and the leg compressions and then go do it. And she just said, I had the endorphins going. And Tom, who was just in there, instead of doing the box and then the leg compressions, he likes to do the leg compressions because he usually nods off for about 25 minutes. And then he says when he goes, he likes to jump in the box before he leaves because it gets him going.
I'm Tom Reed. I come to the Icebox 4 to 5 times a week. I found that using the Icebox has helped me with the inflammation in my knees, and just coming here on almost a daily basis has really helped cut down on the inflammation.
And we'll share his take on it. We'll add that clip to the actual final scene. But this is something that I do want to do, and Greg's going to get me because I'm always doing something off the hip, right? For anyone who views this episode and who was able to go to the Cryotherapy Icebox Studio in Columbia, South Carolina, this is all you have to do. You go, you sign up, go through your first session. Doing it with purpose will pay for your next box session, and your leg compressions. On us, doing it with purpose. We'll make sure that we reach out to Mr. John and make sure we arrange that. But here's the thing. You have to go. You have to, we're going to check with Mr. John. I'm not going to ask for your personal information, but if you say you've been, hey, do you have this individual who came? And once they say you have, we'll make sure we purchase the gift card and make sure it's on file for you to be able to come back and get a free box session on us and a leg compression. So,
but you have to like and subscribe.
Yeah, you got to like and subscribe. You can't, just get this free session. But like, subscribe, comment, give feedback, because what we're doing is we're going to help promote you and your health.
Oh yeah.
And so, like we said, health is wealth. And so, yeah, Mr. John, is there anything final that you just like to share with us about this journey?
It's like I said, I worked for a corporate company for 22 years, and very good to my family and I, but this doesn't feel like work.
Yeah.
Talking to folks like you.
Oh yeah.
And I know there is a business side of it, but talking to and meeting new folks every single day and actually helping them is I don't know, it's fulfilling. When you go home, you feel like you accomplished something today, and I just like people. I like to meet new people. So it's
no longer need an alarm clock. This is your alarm clock. Tomorrow morning, God willing, and we wake up, hey, I have to go change the lives of the people who entrust that this holistic healing process is beneficial. So
for sure.
It sold me. So
and like you just said, he he liked people because probably my first or second session, and I come in and John is behind the counter. Hey, he's
Yeah.
working or whatever. So I didn't have no idea that John was the owner of Icebox. And one of the ladies was like, hey, well, because I was like, hey, well, who owned this place? Because I'm again trying to get it in Lexington or whatever. And they was like, hey, wait, John's the owner. He was just in here. He went back and whatever. And I was like, hey, he's just around here like a regular guy, man. He's just working and he getting robes and they getting socks and they all that stuff, man. Whatever. But hey,
I try to stay out of the way.
Yeah,
Try to stay away. I'll mess more things up that Kaylee has to fix.
Oh,
than,
yeah. Oh yeah.
And I'm learning that about this podcast because I give my son a hard time and everything that
For
he
sure.
does, and I always give him a shout out because no one sees the behind scenes of me wanting. Well, I fired him last night, and he got hired this morning on the way here.
I think he quit.
So he probably did.
Yeah.
But yeah, so we thank you wholeheartedly for taking the time
Yes,
to
sir.
share this
Appreciate your time.
insightful information. And Greg, without further ado, if you want to take us home.
Well, I want to give John a chance to give his social media. You have social media and all that stuff, man.
We're on Instagram, and I think she's got Facebook or whatever. And Kaylee handles all those social platforms. Corporate is very kind of strategic and consistent with what we do post. Just because they want it consistent across the, across the board, across the brand. And like I said before, like if you go to Tucson, Arizona, and you go into Icebox, they want you to hear the same music, have pretty much the same layout. They don't want it any different. So that's why they're, pretty strict on what we post and stuff. But yeah, we've got the natural platforms, the website's on there. If there's any questions for anyone about cryotherapy, call us. That's what we're here to do, is to educate and to explain, and there is no dumb question. But everything is laid out on our website, our packages. But again, there's always a question, right? Don't hesitate to contact us.
And we'll put those websites up so that way you have the information.
Yeah, Icebox Cryotherapy, Columbia,
right,
or whatever.
Icebox
So that's
Studio.
Instagram, Facebook, and all that, or whatever.
Yeah. And I will say, if you put it in GPS, it may seem a little difficult to find. Like you said, they're across the street from Trader Joe's. Nothing But Cakes is on the corner, but in that back studio area close to the Cardinal apartment complex, if I'm not mistaken.
That's where Cardinal Newman High School used to be. We're sitting right where it used to be.
Okay.
And then they moved out to Alpine Road, and they built this.
So if you can get on Forest Drive and find the Lowe's grocery store, you're in the right proximity. And they have a lot of, I like the idea of they have clean juice around the corner, not trying to promote it, but you have things that will go along with you taking care of your health in this capacity. And so, I hope to be ready to give away a icebox session and a leg compression session here really soon. So, without further ado, Greg, if you'll take us home.
Oh yeah. So we just want to appreciate John, man, for giving us this time. He's pretty busy or whatever. So we thank you for the time that you offered us today, man, to shoot this podcast, whatever. And our motto is, the name of the podcast is Doing It With Purpose Podcast. We got the sweatshirt say to show them off or whatever. And we say, you're doing it with purpose, doing it with passion. If you're not doing it like that, you're not doing it at all.
That's it. So come to cryotherapy on purpose and be passionate about your health and wealth.
Exactly.
So thank y'all for coming out.
God bless.
Good night. All right.